Hi there, Trevor here from Double Bill Movies. Time of filming this, it is still hot, so you may see me melt a little bit. I've had to pull the window up, sadly, because my neighbours have two little kids and they rather cry a lot, so don't want them on the video. Anyway, so as I said in my last couple of videos, I was going to do a video on packaging. Now, we all know what different types are out there. It's not so much about the different types, the steelbooks, the sleeves, the box sets, the digipacks, the digibooks, the media packs, and anything else that you care to package a disc in. But it's more maybe why the sort of the industry package things in a certain way or certain amounts, or package two separate formats in the same packaging. So I'll start with that one, shall I? Now, a lot of us collect from an amazing label that has been around, I think, over 30 years, and that is Arrow Video, Arrow Film, and they've brought us many amazing movies, many amazing box sets and slip covers and posters and all this, that and the other. So the first sort of example, this lovely version of An American Werewolf in London. Now, I was a little confused when this first came out because I remember reading something about 4K, but then my friend at the BFI said to me, no, it's just a 4K scan. He was actually sort of convinced that it wouldn't really come out on a full 4K, but he was only going by where the 4K market was at the time. That's not, you know, him making a stupid judgment call. He was going by where the market was at the time, but clearly, thankfully for us, the 4K market seems to be taking off. Now, this is the Blu-ray version. Obviously, I'm not going to double dip. I'm not going to get rid of this box set. At some point, because it will be readily available for many years to come, I will just buy the standard 4K and be done with it. Keep this packaging, but still have the 4K copy of it. So, why do they kind of double dip? Why is the packaging exactly the same? People like Keith at Euphoria Pictures or John Mondo Chelevic Movies, they've all talked about these titles being in the same packaging and sort of, oh, hang on, yeah, there's a nice box set, let's get that. And then, oh, a few months later, what's announced? Well, a 4K version, and it's exactly the same. It happened with RoboCop and The Hills Have Eyes and stuff like that. I think I made a conscious decision a few years ago to sort of, I don't know, it's not kind of be patient, but sort of, well, you know, the 4K market might sort of take off, and maybe I did think I'd try and hold off, but clearly on this one I didn't. This is, like I said, this is the Blu-ray. So, you know, I made a little mistake there, but with my RoboCop, I only have the 4K version. I never bought the Blu-ray version. Yeah, I think we've all got to the point now where it's like, oh, another box set's coming out. Just going to be Blu-ray. Do I wait? So, yeah, it's tough, you know. But the reason for the packaging. So imagine there were 10,000 Blu-ray box sets like this, and that's sort of fine. You think, great, that's a limited edition, but it's more likely that it was cheaper for Arrow to print up 20,000 boxes, 20,000 books, and 20,000 posters, and they probably knew in advance that they were going to go down the 4K route, and thought, well, wouldn't it be nice to be able to do a 4K box set? And, you know, so they would have had to have stored all those other box sets without the discs in. So obviously the cases are different. This is a Blu-ray case, hence the Blu-ray logo, and then obviously the black cases are the 4K ones. So obviously certain elements will just be Blu-ray elements. So the case and the discs. So if I remember rightly, are these art cards the same in the 4K one? So the only difference being is the Amaray case and the discs. So yeah, that's kind of how that sort of works. And I know the BFI recently made a conscious decision when they did the Get Carter box set to do 2 separate ones. Basically in exactly the same packaging, but with the discs, one lot being Blu-ray only and the other one being 4K and a Blu-ray. The Blu-ray is just a bonus disc, but so that's kind of, I think, the reason behind all these double dip box sets from Arrow and maybe a few other labels, was just their sort of venture into sort of unknown territory with the 4K market, and sort of playing it on the safe side, the ultra safe side. Now with films like Phenomena, they've managed to do a standalone 4K release with no Blu-rays in it, under the Creepers title, which I have in my collection. Yeah, I held off on the lovely box set that they did under the Phenomena title. I already had up there the Arrow window box version of Phenomena, so, and you know, obviously I don't have 4K yet, so I was happy to hold off. But all you guys that have amazing 4K setups, of course you're going to want you know, sort of the best version available, and it's been tricky trying to sort of toss up between, well, do I hold off, or no, I don't want to miss out, because that is a big thing that the marketing of these releases play on us, is, oh, do they want to miss out? So they specify there's only X amount of editions being released, and you think, oh, I don't want to get it off eBay and the scalpers, and or some person on Amazon selling it for stupid prices or anything like that. So yeah, it's a bit of a cruel world in that respect. They will play off our desire to own these items. So we got some so let's go back to an old school Arrow release. Now this is the first edition of Contamination. Now initially I only had it without the sleeve, and you're thinking, well, surely the first edition with the sleeve is the only one that has the booklet in and the 2 discs. Well, again, no. So disc wise, you know, they'll print up maybe 50,000 discs, but they'll keep just, say, the Blu-ray aspect for the standard version. Obviously they won't be booklets, and so the disc, you know, if you've seen my interview video I did with John Clancy on the Movie Collector channel, or if you've seen my little series called How Physical Media is Made, I'll link that down below, and John's video too, then you know, the amount of work that goes into creating these discs, you don't just want to print up or get a handful replicated. You need them by the thousands, maybe tens of thousands, for it to be viable releasing them. So the limited edition aspect of these things is usually only the packaging. The price you're paying, say for instance you're £25 for the 4Ks or even Blu-rays, maybe £20. Obviously these were like £25 or more back when they first came out, but the disc is all you're paying for. So in some ways the packaging is just a sort of an added bonus, you know, it's just a means to house the disc. Obviously these Amaray cases will be fairly cheap for them to purchase, thousands and thousands of. but the disc is where the bulk of what you pay goes towards. So they can obviously throw in a lovely booklet. Now I found out that these booklets, you have to print 1,000 at a time. You know, they can't do any smaller runs than that. If the product sells well and all your units disappear, then that's good. But if you don't, and you end up with a few hundred or an odd number, they have to go into storage. Now Sony is one such company that will store these for you, and I'm told that maybe for the first year they'll say, right, no charge, because you know, we understand the situation, but beyond that we will charge you storage. So that's when you'll get another release. Now before I go on to that aspect of it, obviously I did get the slip cover, and I've said in another video, I showed this before, but it came on this. This is still sealed. This is just the single disc version. There's no booklet in here, so there's only a Blu-ray, there's no DVD. Now if I can show you the back, hopefully you can see it clearly. So here has your Blu-ray regions, A and B, and where is it on this one? Well, okay, that's also A and B, but there is your region 1 and 2. There is no region 1 and 2 on there. So that's what I mean when I've said before, this is a reissue. This is not like a reprint, this is a reissue. Nothing's been done to the disc. The disc in here, Blu-ray, will be exactly the same as in there. So this will be left over of their 20,000-30,000 discs they had made. And then they've just put it round, you know, another Amaray case, but they've obviously had to print a different inlay because there's less available in this edition. So let's put that over there. Now, I like showing this off. I know a few people might be jealous of it, but right, there's only 500 of these. So in this wonderful edition, window box version, you get obviously that artwork. You get all the 4 different artworks, don't you? But you get, is that this one, Blu-ray, so 2 Blu-rays, the feature and the special features. So if we take a sort of a memory shot of these discs, that's what they look like. And then, so this booklet's upside down because I found it as the easiest way for the Amaray case to close properly. So there's the booklet, and there's the poster. Okay. Now, so as I said, they'll print up X amount of discs, but they'll have in mind different packaging versions. They know that there's some people like steelbooks, some people like box sets, some people like slip covers, this, that and the other. Or someone like Zavi will come along and say, right, we want 10,000 steelbooks. They won't create any more discs. They'll just say, right, here we have 10,000 discs, here's the discs, you get the steelbooks made up, and away you go, sell what you like, you know. Now, if I'm not 100% accurate with this information, and any of you out there work in this the sort of marketing department of this kind of industry, you know, correct me if I'm slightly wrong or very wrong or whatever. But then you have the steelbook version. Now I can't remember how many of these there are. That's the front, and I was going to get rid of this until I realised what was inside. Oops. So not only is there a broken clip, recognise those discs? They're exactly the same as the window box version. The booklet is exactly the same as the window box version, and the poster is exactly the same. It's a double-sided poster, so I'm going to get to have both sides of the poster up on the wall sometime. The only difference in here is they've added that, but that's just for the next release that's coming up, or was coming up at the time. So I think you're starting to get the picture of how I think this works. You know, I'm not. My job in the industry was creating the discs. I never had anything to do with packaging. That would be done completely elsewhere. You know, the artwork for the packaging. I never knew what packaging was going to look like or anything like that. I didn't know what artwork was going to be on the discs. If you remember that, if you saw that video of John and I, and you remember that shot he put up of, he found a shot of what we call a check disc. That's all I got to see when I was working on the discs, was just the information we needed. So then you've got, you know, you've got other companies. So this is a Shameless release, and they've got these lovely yellow amaret cases, and up there's one more. I did have three, but I got rid of a title. I think it was The Sect. I watched it and I didn't like it. I was nearly cheeky enough and held on to the amaret case, but one, I actually dropped it and put a little crack in it. But two, I'm not like that, you know. Let someone else enjoy it if that's what they want, to have an original version. So those of you who have Shameless titles in these translucent yellow amaret cases, most likely have first editions. But if you get this film, The Church, and it has a solid yellow amaret case, it will be a reissue. So I mean, no booklet or anything, this one. They're not really sort of a booklet company, but there is a limited edition number there, and on, if you can see the same part on the reverse, there's no number there. So that's another thing, you know. I mean, 88, they started out with the translucent red amaret cases this shape, until the supply of them basically ran out. They struggled to get them, so they had to change to the other translucent red. And now I've got, you can't really see from there, but I've got two, the Sleepaway Camp versions. I held off because I wanted a box set of all three. But 88, as much as they tried, because I asked them so many times, as much as they tried, they couldn't get Sleepaway Camp. They could only release 2 and 3. So my versions of those have solid red amaret cases, and they do stand out a bit on the shelf. But if I ever see them again out in the wild, like CEX or something, in the old cases, then of course I'll swap them out. So another reason why you might get different packaging, and it will have to be very different when a title is remastered. Now, something else I've mentioned in other videos, and I talked about briefly in the video with John, was well, it was actually absurd, but I talked about the fundraiser that I did with the 88, and now, yes, I have this slip cover, and those of you out there who have this with the slip cover, you've got art cards. I don't. And I imagine you've also got a white amaret case. Now, I don't. I have a blue amaret case. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Please, if you can remember, you know, or if you've got in your collection Anthropophagus the Beast with this slipcover and the art cards inside, can you let me know if it's a white case or not? So the reason I have this was one of my perks for being part of the fundraiser. So I imagine 88, you know, they had X amount of sleeves printed up. Maybe they couldn't print as many art cards as they wanted. You got to remember that all these art cards, all this artwork, any pictures you see on the back, I mean, a lot of these things have to be commissioned, so everything has a price. So the art cards will have cost them money per card. It's not like they could just buy a bunch of pictures. It would be X amount of money. I don't know how much money, but it'll be X amount of money per picture for them then to print and turn into a lobby card. So yeah, this was my perk. I'm guessing they had some slips left over, and maybe they kept them back for the exact reason of you know, doing the fundraiser and giving us an incentive to pay more money. But I was happy to pay more money. Reason being is that despite that being released, that was just, there's no restoration or anything on that. That is literally just the movie being put onto Blu-ray. But when we reached the goal of £40,000 really quickly, and they sort of said, well, look, dangled another carrot in front of us. If we can get X amount more, we'll get another title done up. And the other title was Anthropophagus the Beast. This is where this remaster came from. Now, this isn't like fundraiser or perk exclusive. This is for everyone. So those of you guys who have this in your collection, that's the fruit basically of that fundraiser. We ended up with £80,000. It was incredible, watching it on the Indiegogo website, watching it go up. And it was, you know, once it got near the end of the, because they can only, I think it's 3 months that it ran for, and so you only get that time period to raise money, and the last sort of week it just went nuts. So, you know, this version is the same as your version. I have nothing special in this, but obviously I got this as one of the perks because I paid for it. I brought it by putting money into the fundraiser. But the packaging is different because it's a remaster. So this has to basically scream out, I'm different to this version. You know, you're not getting the same thing. Hence the repackage. And, you know, great excuse to have yet another lot of original artwork for this release. I mean, I've changed that round because, oops, as you know, it is just that inside. So if you've got it on the slipcover, why do you need it on there as well? So yeah, that's my sort of thoughts and theories as to how the packaging system works for not just Arrow, but 88, Vinegar Syndrome, Eureka, Indicator, and all that. So the Indicator ones, I haven't got one handy. And the same for the BFI. So if you remember this, when you're out and about, you're at HMV and you want the booklet version, with the BFI ones and Powerhouse Indicator titles, if the artwork goes to the very top and you can't see this blue part of the Amaray case or white part of the Amaray case, that's a first edition. It's a re-release, a reissue, if you can see the top of the Amaray case, and there won't be any booklet in there. So again, my friend at the BFI told me that when I wanted to buy the original version of Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I said, was there a slipcover or anything on that? He said, no, we never ever did a slipcover for that, but there is a booklet version. And then he explained to me the differences, and I went on to HMV's website. I found both versions, one with the blue band at the top. Don't want that one, I wanted the other one with the full height picture, and there we go, I had the booklet. So yeah, I hope you found that interesting. If any of you out there can correct me on anything, please do. I'm not like the be all and end all master of all this. This is just information I've picked up over the years, people I've talked to, and just thought it'd be interesting to share with you guys my thoughts and why Arrow have been doing all this double packaging of 4Ks and Blu-rays. Anyway, any comments? Leave them where you know where to leave them, down there. Please like the video, get it out there so that many other people can hopefully learn from this, or even just confirm their own theories. You know, you've all got your own theories. None of us are stupid. We all know that it's money making at the end of the day, isn't it? So yeah, subscribe to the channel if you want to get more of my content. Make sure you set the notifications to all. You know what, I forgot something. I'm being looked at here by something pretty menacing. As we all know, there's a different version of packaging, and Keith from Euphoria definitely knows about this version of packaging. And that is the busts. Oh yeah, so there we go. This is the 3D version of Predator. Now someone made a comment after John Clancy did his amazing review of Predator, the 4K of it, and there were some comments in the discussions, or some discussions in the comments even, that the DNR version, it was done so they could create the 3D version. I don't think the 3D version would have worked with the way the grain structure was on the original version. Now, as I pointed out to John, that a lot of the reason Predator looks really grainy in places, and it's really visible, is that there's been optical zooming used to reframe. So there were two editors on the film basically. One was replaced, and the one that came in saw certain scenes and went, I don't like the way that looks. So they basically zoomed in to reframe what they want, but then it just degrades the picture obviously. But anyway, so I'm sure you've seen this, but if you haven't, this does come off, and it does look like that. I've got a picture somewhere of me at a Comic-Con. I'll put it up now. And yeah, as you can see, I was being strangled by him. It was a very good costume actually that the guy was wearing, and I appreciated very much his little interaction with me. So the disc is housed in the back here. Gonna have to put it down. And there we go. It's even got a slipcover, look. So there we are, Predator 3D. Yeah, I've yet to experience it in 3D. I imagine it would look pretty good, I have to say. But, and I've said this before, if your TV settings are right, the original one, even the first Blu-ray that came out, should look very three-dimensional, because there's a lot of foliage near the camera, so there's a lot of depth of field presented to the camera. You should see that. So if it does look really flat to you and you're thinking, now, Trev, what the hell are you talking about? How can it look three-dimensional? Give me a shout, and we can go through your TV settings and see if we can't really get this three-dimensional look. See, if I do that, you've got three-dimensionality. This is 3D. So if you can't see that, then you know, need to adjust your TV settings. So give us a shout and I'll give you a hand. Anyway, I'll say it again, take it easy.